Real news is getting the facts right and getting the right facts and putting those in a context and a perspective that readers can think is true.
Fake news, in its narrowest sense, is a contradiction, because news by its very nature is true. Things that happen, something that's new that happens, that's news, right? If it's fake, well, it didn't really happen.
I think the danger with fake news is that the things that we hold in common, the values, the things that we believe to be true, are suddenly up for grabs.
People, I think today, feel that if they see a story or read a piece that they disagree with, well, it must be fake.
So we go off in many different directions, and we become obsessed with trivial matters in particular, because those are the things that tend to rile us up and make us become more emotional.
And if news is something that you may not agree with, doesn't mean it's fake, but it does mean that maybe you want to look and see what somebody else has to say about it. So I think I encourage people to be very careful before they use social media.
People on social media tend to hear their own viewpoint repeated back. It's that echo chamber, and it's poisonous for democracy, because people become accustomed to hearing only the things that they already agree with. They don't challenge themselves. They're not open to new information. And you know what suffers? Democracy suffers. I think there's so much confusion about what is news and what isn't news, and I think that a major contributor to that is the cable television explosion, the fact that so-called news networks have to fill hour after hour after hour of time, and they find it more cost-effective to have people opining on the news rather than reporting the news. So people get confused. They see someone's opinion being often yelled at them from the TV screen, often countered by another yelling face on the screen, and they think that's news. They may not agree with it, and well, that's fake news. You know, that's not news. You know, that's opinion. That's people arguing.
Just because you don't agree with something, you can't call it fake. We do have different points of view.
And we cannot gather and as a country and unite on really important issues, and even decide what's important.
All of this would not even exist if it were not for actual news. That is to say, journalists who seek the truth and report it. You know, that's the first of 4 principles of ethics that the Society of Professional Journalists espouses in its ethics code. Seek the truth and report it. And that's kind of where actual reporting begins. The national outlets will cover national stories. They won't cover what's happening in your neighborhood. That's why local news reporters, and I mean by news, I mean ethical and unbiased and balanced news, are so critical, because people are not going to understand exactly what's going on in their government, in their communities, on their streets, in their companies, at the mall, unless journalism explores and explains what it is that they're seeing.
There are your standard traditional outlets that take their news very seriously. There are certainly organizations that have a point of view, a perspective, and I think the listener, the consumer, has to be almost as diligent as a reporter in having more than one source. Don't get your news from one source only. So don't be quick to forward something or retweet something unless you know it's a fact, because then you can be responsible for forwarding fake news.